So, since the
Powered by
Fantastic Four
Riverside
have
Energy.
finally, after how long's MCU been around? 15 years? 15 years, we finally got the Fantastic Four in the MCU, which has been for a long time one of the biggest fan castings people have wanted. I wouldn't say since the beginning, but since the MCU got, super popular, people have wanted the MCU to have the Fantastic Four and the X Men, and we finally got both. And it seems like, for the most part, this Fantastic Four is definitely been well received. I mean, granted, there's not been a lot of good competition. I mean, all the other Fantastic Four films have been either terrible, bad, forgettable, or just mediocre at best. So, I mean, it's not a high bar. I'm going to be honest. It's not a high bar to make a good Fantastic Four film, and there's not really much to compare to that's good. So, there is that, but I do think that the film, even on its own, is pretty good. I mean, I have a few issues here and there, but nonetheless, it's still a pretty good film. And I mean, it seems like the box office has done pretty well. I mean, I know that there's been like a dip in like the weeks after it came out. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of to be expected. I don't think any film's really going to keep making the same amount of money not months, weeks after it comes out. So I really don't see that as like a failure. Like I know some people, like some articles were saying like this is like a box office bomb now since like it's had a drop off. I don't know how big the drop off's been, but I can't imagine it's been that bad. But nonetheless, we finally got the Fantastic Four, and they are going to be in Doomsday. At least we don't know if they're going to be in Secret Wars. I'm going to guess they probably are. I can't imagine that they're going to sit out both like one of them. I feel like, especially since they've wanted to use the Fantastic Four, and that like they're one of the most like famous, iconic characters that they have, they're definitely going to want to put them in there. So it's a safe bet that they're going to be in Secret Wars. Funny enough, the I forget his name, the actor that plays Nightcrawler. Apparently, he got into a lot of trouble with his publicist because he let it slip out that there is going to be a fight between Mister Fantastic and Nightcrawler in Doomsday. Which I'm gonna be honest, that's interesting because when you look at their powers, you got Reed who has the elasticity, the stretching powers, they're pretty much like the Mrs. Incredible's powers, and you got Nightcrawler who's like teleportation and things like that. So I mean, that's an interesting matchup. I wouldn't have thought those two would be fighting, but I feel like this is kind of like the tradition. Like whenever two teams like finally meet for the first time, they always have to fight. Like when the Avengers first got together, like when Thor, Cap, and Iron Man first met, they had their fight. When the Guardians met, Iron Man and Spider Man, they had to fight. So it seems like this is kind of customary that before they become a team, before they actually team up and become friends, they have to fight each other. So I mean, it's kind of in line with what's been the trend for the MCU. But kind of looking past like this film and Doomsday and Secret Wars, what exactly is the Fantastic Four? What is their role in the MCU going to be? Is something I've learned about because this has kind of become a little bit more tricky to think about because Kevin Feige's kind of like indicated that there's going to be like a reset after Secret Wars, and I don't know what that reset's going to look like. I don't know if that means they're going to like try to somehow like my idea my in my opinion, the best way to try to consolidate this clusterfuck that the MCU is now is in Secret Wars to have at the end, like, just erase all the multiversal shit, all the other dimensions, all the variants, all TVA, get rid of all that shit, and just like have one main timeline. And I don't know how they can do that because the Fantastic Four exists on their own Earth and their own universe. So I don't know, like, that's the other issue is like now they have like pretty core canon characters and locations that really can't be in the same. Like I don't know, you're gonna have like two Earths in the same universe. I don't know that'd be kind of fucking crazy to do that. I don't think they'll do that. So I'm not sure how this reset's gonna happen. But ideally, I feel like a reset would probably be just like them getting rid of all of just the shit that they've made the last 5 years. Pretty much like a course correction. I feel like the reset when and if they do it, which it seems like even Marvel admits that they need to do it now. So I think this would be just a course correct. So I don't think they're going to recast the Fantastic Four. I mean, especially since this seems like a pretty solid cast. Like one of the things I really like about this film is like all the actors seem perfectly cast. Like now. I have my issues with Pedro Pascal's Reed, but that's more of the character, not so much much Pedro Pascal's fault. So I think the cast is solid. I think the synergy they have and the chemistry is pretty solid. Hell, I even like Herbie. Like I even like Herbie. He's a cool character. Like I hope they keep him around. And apparently he's going to show up in Doomsday. So the fucking Herbie's going to even get a little bit of time to shine in that movie. So I don't think they're gonna reset, especially since like it wouldn't make sense to like introduce the Fantastic Four because they've already introduced a version with John Krasinski in Doctor Strange 2, which was atrocious, and then now they have like I don't think they should start a trend which they've already had of like introducing the same character and having them be killed off or reset or reboot. Like just keep the same character and just build that character. I mean, because we already know that the X Men and Secret Wars and Doomsday are temporary. We know they're going to recast them after that. So it's like, why are we even why bring them back if it's going to recast them? But that's nonetheless. So I don't think they're going to recast the Fantastic Four. I think they're going to keep them. And if they're going to keep them, I think that what they should do is they should have Reed Richards. I feel like he should be maybe not the most important character, but I think he should be one of the central characters. I think he should replace what Tony Stark was originally. He should be like the super intelligent. I really want the one thing I hope that they expand on, I hope the thing that they really continue to build on is that Reed Richards is one of the most smartest beings on in the universe. Not on the planet, but like in the universe. Like that's one thing I hope they do going forward is that they really build and develop just the insane, really inhuman intelligence he has. Like how much he can process, the amount of information he can process, the inventions he can come up with, the technology he can create, the plans he can make, the concepts he comes up with, like the safeguards he comes up with, like his plans for how to deal with threats. Like I really hope they explore that because I feel like in this film, the first film that they just made, they really didn't go fully in with his intelligence, and some of his plans were kind of fucking stupid. So I hope that they kind of correct that as they go forward. That they like make him one of the most, if not, like I think he should be. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think Reed should probably be the smartest person. I think I know that Marvel's kind of the thing is Marvel's kind of ruined the whole smartest person or smartest being because like every fucking character now, like every teenager in the MCU is like a super genius. You got fucking Peter Parker, you got Riri Williams, you got Cassie Lang, yeah, you got like it's just an overabundance of just super geniuses walking around. Like it doesn't mean nothing. So I really want them to really show, not just say that he's smart, not just say he's one of the smartest people. Like I really want them to develop him and show on screen like his intelligence, like his insane intelligence. And you can do that, like you can go a lot of ways to that because the one thing this film, the Fantastic Four film, kind of hinted at is like the darker side of Reed, of like how he thinks of all of the dark, horrible things that could happen, and how he thinks of ways to prevent that preemptively. Almost like Tony Stark, like how Tony Stark made Ultron and the Ultron program to preemptively stop and prevent Thanos or event like Thanos from happening. And then that ended up fucking backfiring horribly, which led to Civil War and caused a whole chain reaction. So I think that would be kind of cool to like really develop Reed Richards' intelligence and like show it in like not just being a very good thing. Like I don't want them to just make Reed like the goody two shoes Captain America super genius type. I want him to be a very like morally gray character. I want to see like as the MCU goes on with him as like a center character. I feel like the MCU should kind of make him this like morally gray kind of by any means necessary. Like the plans he comes up with are very efficient, very effective, very very good. But like at the same time, it comes at a very high risk and might have like a lot of sacrifice. Like it might cause like instead of having everyone live, my plan causes a lot of people to die to save the ones we can save. Like I think that'd be kind of. And then you could also cause some conflict with the other members of the Fantastic Four, and you could cause tension with the other Avengers and superheroes. But leading with that, like I feel like the one thing Reed should be, as I was saying earlier, he should be the main, like, I wouldn't say the main Avenger, because the thing is, I don't know, because like he's part of Fantastic Four, but I feel like he should be like the main, like almost a mix between Doctor Strange and a mix between Tony Stark, where like he keeps track of like all the threats out there. He's like always worried and like I feel like after whatever happens in Doomsday and Secret Wars, I feel like after those two films, Reed is going to be a lot more paranoid, or he should. He should be a lot more paranoid, a lot more terrified. Like because I mean, he knows that there are threats out there. Like they know about Galactus, but like there are threats out there that even like far beyond anything Reed has ever comprehended, like way beyond anything that he was even prepared for. Like there are other even superheroes out there. Like there are other superpowered beings out there that he just has is way beyond anything he could even comprehend. And so I feel like post Secret Wars, post Doomsday, Reed should have gone through a pretty dramatic character arc or like character change, where like now he kind of has like a post Avengers Tony Stark mindset, where he's like, all right, like there's a lot of shit out there. Like there's other universes, there's other Earths, there's other planets, there's who knows how many types of mutants and fucking superheroes and alternate realities and like we gotta like really prepare for what could happen after Doctor Doom. Like whatever happens and however that ends, like I could see Reed having the mindset of we can never let this happen again. Like I have to do everything in my power to make sure this never happens again. Like we gotta be on top of every threat that could or maybe even happen. And you could play in to what they hinted at in the first film of how he's always thinking about the worst things that could happen and him like taking that to the extreme radical really authoritarian degree where you could have Reed like as like the center of the MCU, like the main Avengers team, and like he's coming up with all these ideas. Like he might have like agencies or teams or like just assigned just to like make sure things are going like okay. And like I think that'd be kind of cool. Like I feel like what they should also do is have Reed be like on a like I mean on top of being like I'd say like if not the leader, there should be like a council, like like the Illuminati in the comics. Because in the comics, there's the organization, the Illuminati, which has Tony Stark, it has Black Panther, Reed Richards, and I think Professor X from the X-Men is in it. And there's a few other characters. I think Black Bolt's in it too. But that's like the core. Like essentially, it's supposed to be the most intelligent people or the most intelligent beings that are like on this council to make plans. And I think that'd be kind of cool too. Like, I feel like Reed should be like have a council like that where like he has like a group of people like Doctor Strange, and you could have like Captain America, like pretty much like the most important, the most intelligent, the most like useful and essential like Avengers and superheroes. There's like a group of them outside the Avengers and Fantastic Four that they convene to like discuss things that Reed has found or like plans or like things that are going on. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like I think it would be kind of cool to like actually have a legitimate good version of the Illuminati, not the fucking atrocious shit they did in Doctor Strange 2, like an actual official council where you could have like Reed Richards, you could have Captain Marvel, you could have Doctor Strange, you could have I mean, you could even have like even like lesser powerful, like less intelligent characters, but like are as knowledgeable. Like you could even have like Star Lord on the council. I mean, he's had enough experience. You could even have. I mean, I don't know if they're going to get rid of him or what's going to happen. But you could even have like Thor. Like you could have Thor. Like he's probably one of the best people. I mean, he's like 1,500 years old. One of the most knowledgeable, one of the most experienced characters and heroes. One of the original Avengers. They definitely want him on the team. So I think it'd be kind of cool to have like a council that Reed forms like that. Just like their entire purpose is just to like brainstorm and like analyze threats. Like they kind of had that in the end game, and they kind of carried on to like Shang-Chi, or like there was like a semi council of like Okoye and Carol and Bruce and Rocket, but it really wasn't like an official thing. It just kind of met randomly. Nothing really happened from it, and like that really just been forgotten. So I think it'd be kind of cool to have like a council for like where Reed like he just like convenes of like the most important people and like most important heroes that like just to like talk about plans, discuss ideas, discuss like what's going on. Because like this is the other thing is like I don't know like this is what's kind of weird too is like since the Fantastic Four exists in a separate universe from like the other like the main MCU. I don't know, like I guess they'd have to like I mean also like Doctor Strange, they could just like portal like there's tons of ways they could like transport to other dimensions and realities and other places, but it is kind of weird how like the Fantastic Four are just like chilling in their own like universe separate from like the main universe where like all the heroes are in and all the villains are in and all the important shits happen. So I don't know if they're going to try and like figure out a way to like bring them into the main MCU, like somehow. I mean, it'd be a bold move, but I wonder if they would actually destroy the Earth in the Fantastic Four universe, and then they have to come to the main universe. That's actually a thought. Like that could happen. Like it could be at the end of Doomsday or Secret Wars, like their Earth gets destroyed, and then they end up having to come to the main Earth, and then this is where they live now. Like that. Now that would be, I think that'd be kind of interesting. You could do a lot with that. Like also, you could there'd be a lot of character development you could do with that, like how the Fantastic Four have to deal with like their entire planet being destroyed, and now they're on this entirely new Earth that is cosmically different from their Earth, and having to readjust and adapt to that Earth. That'd be a fucking wild take to do, but I don't know if they're gonna do it, but I think it would be. I think it'd be a cool way to go. You know, enough. I mean, enough about Reed, but like, I think that because I feel like Reed I think out of all the Fantastic Four, Reed is like the most important, the most that you can get the most mileage from Reed. I don't. Not that you can't get it from like the other ones, but like I don't think the other characters as they are now carry as much use or as much possibilities to them as Reed does. Like they set up a lot that you can do with him in the first film. And I really think that if they really continue to build on that, that'd be pretty cool. Like, there's a lot of ways you could go with him. But enough of Reed. Like, what about the other characters? Because there are four of them, not just the one. With the Thing, I feel like the Thing is in their main film, which is the only film they've got. Like, he was the one that was like served the least. Like, the Thing had pretty much nothing going for him. Like, he had a love interest that showed up like twice, never really went anywhere. So like with the Thing, I feel like with him, you could kind of have him because he's before he became like deformed into the rock monster. He was like a top class pilot. You could have him like I could see him at some point like being like a not like a commander, but I could see him like kind of at some point if the Fantastic Four break up, which is something else I'm going to get into. Um, I could see him going off and like doing something similar to like what is that? What was that planet? There was a planet, and it was in the Guardians. It was like I mean, hell, it might have got destroyed. Actually, there was like was it Ravagers? Like I could see him like being like a space pilot. Like I could see him at some point, like if the Fantastic Four break up, like I could see him being like, you know what, I'm gonna travel the universe, see what's out there, and I feel like also like they don't really touch on it, but like it's implied and kind of hinted at that the Thing is like he's still insecure and not fully comfortable with being this deformed, grotesque, rock-looking monster. Like, I mean, yeah, he's complacent with it, and he seems fine with it, and he plays along. But there's like a few shots in the film that kind of imply he's not fully happy with it. Like when he's looking at himself in the TV screen, and like looking at himself at the TV in the TV store, like before he was turning, like when he was normal. And then the TV goes off and it like shows a reflection of him looking at himself, and you can see that he's like kind of sad about like how he looks now. Like wow, like look at what I used to be human, and now I'm fucking this now. And they never really do much. They never do anything with that. Like I feel like you could really kind of develop that. Like how does Ben feel about being this deformed rock monster? Like how is he adjusted to that? Like is he really okay being this? Is he fine? Like you could really do something like that. You could kind of do like a similar. No, I mean, it's not the same like one to one, but almost like a Hulk deal. Like how do I like how does he come to like finally accept like this is who I am and like come to peace with it? Like I'm just it only well, I mean, there's other differences, but like the difference between like the Thing and the Hulk obviously is like the Hulk is just like an uncontrollable monster that just like destroys everything. But like you can see like how the Thing like he could have had because when we meet them, it's been 4 years or so since they've been established as the Fantastic Four. So we don't know what the reaction was when he initially came back. I mean, they could have looked at him like the fucking Elephant Man and were just terrified, and then they finally like came around to him. That's kind of the other thing is like since we don't see them at the beginning when they just became the Fantastic Four, we've kind of missed some core development. I feel like so like I think the arc that I would like to see for him kind of should have already happened. So I don't know how it would work if it happen now, but I still think you could do it. Like I think that there is still enough room to like have him kind of explore how he feels as he like how does he like kind of deal with how he's this deformed monster now, how he becomes complacent with it. You could even like actually build his love interest, which is that was just a random plot line. Like I feel like there is like a cut or a version of this film that has more of that because it's so random. Like she just shows up and does pretty much nothing. Like she just kind of is there like for two scenes. She's briefly there at the end when they fight Galactus, and that's it. Like she never shows up again. So like you could definitely explore that. Like you could have like a, it sounds generic, I know, but like a Beauty and the Beast type thing where you got you know the thing kind of like trying to find love, insecure if he could find love, anyone could actually love him for being him. There's a lot you could do with that. So I'd like to see that be explored with the thing. Like I said, like at some point way down the line, I could see him kind of going solo and like being like a like a pilot like he was before, but just like on a cosmic scale where he's like fighting for whatever. I mean, I feel like there, and it, I might be misremembering this, but isn't there like a was it Xander? Or hell, I think Xander got destroyed. I feel like there was like a space military that had like fighters in it, and I might be wrong. I think I might be misremembering this, but I could have swore there was like if I remember this correctly, then there is like a I don't even remember what their name was, but I thought it was in one of the Guardians films. But like if that is the case, if what I'm thinking of is correct, you could do something with that. Like I think that at some point I could see Ben, when and if the team splits up, I can see him going his own way and becoming like a pilot or becoming like hell his own like leader. I could see him becoming like a leader of his own, like team of his own. So for the thing, I'm kind of interested more than the others because like I feel like we didn't really get much. Like we got a lot of characterization for Reed, for Johnny, for Sue, but like we really didn't get much for the thing. So I think he has the most to explore and the most you can do with since he's just kind of like a blank canvas. So I'd be kind of interested to see what they do with him. And, next we got the Human Torch, who I have to say I'm kind of impressed with what they did with him. I thought they were gonna make him just like the generic hothead, no pun intended, jock type, just wanting to fuck chicks, very simplistic, very one dimensional. But they actually made him have a little bit of depth to him, which was refreshing. Where he's actually pretty intelligent, very analytical. He's very interested in like space exploration, very interested in going into space, going into traveling. Like it actually gave him a lot to do, and actually he was one of the main MVPs of the film. Like without him, doing his own side quest to like figure out about the Silver Surfer and her language and all that, they probably would have lost at the end. So like he was pretty integral to like actually beating Galactus at the end. And so with Johnny, I feel like with Johnny, he's the one that like I think out of the four would eventually I think and I know they're not going to want to break the Fantastic Four up yet, but I could see him actually being more like prone to leaving the group, like not like leaving permanently, but like I could see him showing up in other characters' films. Like I could see the Human Torch just like out of curiosity, just like showing up in I don't know, like a fucking Captain Marvel film where like he's just curious, and I feel like Johnny out of all the other characters, I feel like Johnny would be the most excited and the most intrigued to learn about like holy shit, there's this like fucking vast multiverse of all these heroes and characters. Like space is far more fucking vast and infinite than like even I thought. Like I could see him just having a field day just trying to like explore and learn about all of it, like trying to learn about all the characters on the mainline Earth, trying to learn about all the other like cultures, all the other heroes, their backgrounds, where they came from, all the other planets. Like I feel like Johnny could have like a lot of solo adventures. Like I could see him like wanting to go off just like on his own, like pretty occasionally, and trying to like travel the universe, like meeting up with other characters. Like I really feel like he's the one character that you could really see pretty easily fitting into a lot of other characters' stories. And he's not overly obnoxious because I feel like there is a version of Johnny that would just be insufferable, almost like a. I could see a worse version of Johnny being like a Deadpool, but way worse and just very grating. Or you're just like, God damn, I don't want to fucking see this guy again. But I feel like as he is now, like he's a pretty enjoyable guy. Like, and I don't think he's a character. See, he's a character that like I really think complements a lot of other characters. Like I don't think he's a character that wouldn't fit with most characters. Like I could easily see him hanging out with Spider-Man or with Daredevil or with Captain Marvel or with Doctor Strange. Like I could see him having that kind of diverse chemistry with a lot of different characters and like being able to fit into their stories. Like I could see him showing up to help Doctor Strange in some type of multiversal, threat, or helping Captain Marvel with like some interplanetary war, or like showing up to, hang out and talk to Daredevil about, what the hell's going on in Hell's Kitchen. Like I could see him perfectly and easily fitting into like very different like storylines and plot lines. So I think with him, there's more solo and more crossover possibilities than there is with the other ones. And I think that like it fits his character really perfectly. And I feel like after Secret Wars and after Doomsday, he should be like really amped to like learn about all the other heroes and like want to go visit them and go travel there. Like because now that however, because I know that however they end Secret Wars, I'm sure they're gonna like have it be to where all the heroes are connected somehow. So they're gonna be able to like inter travel between their planet, the other planets. So I could definitely see Johnny like going to other Earths or other planets and hanging out with other characters. And I'd be all for it. Like I'd be very into seeing that. And then finally we got Sue Storm, who I don't want to say she was bad. She had a bad character. I just think that in the film they just kind of had her as like the one note, very overly concerned, overprotective mother, and she has her occasional feud with Reed, and that was it. Like I feel like she didn't have bad characterization. I just feel like it was very one note in what they did of her, and that they really didn't explore a lot of what they could of her. Like they could have had a lot more diversity and like what her character was. Like her conflict with Reed was just kind of brushed over. Her, issues with like, dealing with the backlash from the planet after, not wanting to sacrifice her baby. They just kind of skipped over that. Like there's so much character, like character development and character arcs that they just completely sidestep just for no reason. And so with Sue, I feel like with her, I think you definitely are going to still have, because I don't know, like I don't know what's going to happen with Franklin, because I mean it seems like Franklin's being set up to be like one of, if not the most important being in the MCU. But then again, I don't know like if they're, because it could easily happen, because Marvel's done this before where like they just end up forgetting or just not acknowledging Franklin, where like he just doesn't show up for like 15 years, which has happened with other characters. I mean, like characters like Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel, when they should show up, they've just never showed up because they're so powerful. And after they showed up, there'd be no conflict. So I could see him doing the same thing of Franklin, where like they just kind of keep him like away from like all the events going on, where he's doing something or he can't use his powers or something like that. But with Sue, I feel like with her, you could really expand her into like also being like a leader role, where like I could see her wanting to take, because I don't know, it depends on if the Fantastic Four stay in their universe or if they cross into like the main universe. Because if they stay in their universe, I don't know. I feel like with Sue, I could see her kind of like wanting to like have like a different like version of the planet than Reed. Like I could see Reed like wanting to be like very authoritarian, very like wanting to do at any means necessary to like keep the planet and keep the universe and keeping them safe. And I could see Sue kind of having like a different route, like, hey, like I get that you're, overly concerned and you want to protect everyone, but like you're kind of like actually hurt, like you're actually making things way worse by being this way. Like, and I could see there being like a conflict where like there's a rift between them, where they end up kind of like having like a falling out, where like Sue ends up going on her own and like having to, I don't know how that would end up with like the, I don't know how that would work with like Franklin, like I guess like joint custody. That'd be kind of a fucking wild situation, like a fucking divorce case between Reed and Sue. That'd be kind of interesting, especially with Franklin being like a fucking cosmic god, pretty much. Um, but I could see her like definitely like I feel like she's, I mean obviously she's like the mother of the group. But I could see her, I don't know, like with Sue, I feel like even thinking about it, other than the conflict with Reed, I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know what you could do with her. I mean, there are things you could. I'm just not really. they're not coming to me really. I've thought about it, and I don't know. She's the one of the four that I really just don't know what like where they go with her because I feel like she works well in the group, but I don't know as far as like individual character, like what you do with her. Like I could see at some point her and I hope to God they kind of don't do this. I hope what they don't do is they end up kind of going the Scarlet Witch route. Like I hope to God they don't do that. Like I hope they don't make her a villain in the same way that they made Scarlet Witch a villain from WandaVision to Doctor Strange too. I hope to God it doesn't happen because Jesus Christ, that fucking assassinated Wanda's character to an insane level. And I mean, Sue doesn't have the most characterization going for her, but dear God, that would just fucking kill any characterization she has. So I hope they don't go that route with her. But I mean, I don't know, like there's some things you could do with her. I mean, I feel like as far as like on her own, I don't know. I could see her like wanting to like make her own because they hint at it. The Future Foundation. I could see her like taking that and like on a cosmic scale, like after they are like aware of other heroes, like I could see her like trying to found like since she is like a very motherly figure, like I could see her like kind of being like a mentor to like a young Avengers. See, now that'd be kind of cool. Like now, I mean, the unfortunate thing is, I feel like they've kind of, by and large, missed. I mean, you can always do a Young Avengers. It's just like they're gonna have to do a younger Avengers because they were gonna do a Young Avengers years ago, and that didn't happen. And they waited too long, and pretty much all the actors and actresses that were gonna do that, they're all like in their early 20s. So you can't really. I guess you could, but like Young Avengers, you think of like I don't know, like I think of teenagers, preteen. I think of that like range. I don't really think of like mid 20s or that age range. So I mean, I could see that. Like I think that'd be kind of cool. Like at some point, like Sue, like I said, like if the Fantastic Four break up, I could see Sue like going off and like making her own like future foundation and being like like a motherly like figure to like maybe they're like orphan superheroes or like children like almost like mutants in a way like maybe mutants and like other aliens out there that are like kids or teenagers and like making a team since she has experience being on a superhero team and then by the time there will be a second film, she'll have had experience, fighting interdimensional beings, cosmic beings, working with, aliens, witches, gods, every fucking possible type of, species out there. So she'll definitely have the experience by that point to like definitely lead and train her own team. So I think that'd be kind of cool to have her like as like a leader of like a future foundation. You could like really build like a lot of spin-offs from that. I think that'd be kind of cool. But then, like, as far as like long term, and this might be a hot take, but I feel like long term, and this shouldn't happen for a while. I think they should at least have 3 films, and I think, well, hell, I guess if they have 3 films, and then they're going to be in Secret Wars and Doomsday, I feel like after a third film, the Fantastic Four should break up. I think that by that point, because really, I think that the team works well, but I feel like the team, I don't know, like unlike the Avengers, I feel like the team there's a lot more potential, at least in my opinion. There's a lot more potential long term after they've been fully established of them going their own way. Like they, kind of like the Avengers were. Like, you had Tony Stark and you had Cap on Earth, and you had Hulk and Thor in space, and then you had the other Avengers that were like scattered out. Like they're not like broken up permanently. Like they don't have like a civil war falling out where they hate each other, but like they get to a point where they just decide, you know what? We've been a team for a while. We've done everything. Maybe it's time we go our own ways. Kind of like how the Guardians did at the end of the Guardians 3, where they're like, you know what? We've been a team for a while. We've been family forever. But I want to do my thing. You want to do your thing. We all have our own separate goals. Maybe it's time to separate for a little bit, part ways. I could see that. And I think you could do a lot with that. Like, I think that if they break up and go, and by that point, they will have been established enough where, like, they have their own, like, kind of story set up where, like, you could have Reed instantly hop into, like, his own story, Sue and hers, the thing and his, Johnny and his. So, I mean, I feel like if they do it right, and I wouldn't do it for a while, like, I don't want them breaking up after a second film. Like, I want them to at least be, like, really established in the MCU and then like be really characterized and fully developed, and then you break them up, and then you have them go their own ways. And then that leads to Franklin. I would just get rid of Franklin because I feel like Franklin is just going to be the way they're setting him up. I feel like is just going to be endless problems because there's if how they hyped him up, if how they explain him in the Fantastic Four film is to be believed, he's going to be like one of the most powerful beings in the entirety of the MCU, and I don't know what you do with that. Like, because you run into the Captain Marvel problem on like 1,000 times amplified steroids. Like, I don't like. What do you do with that? Like, how do you like? What's the conflict? Like, he'll be so powerful that he can't be beaten. He can't be killed. He can't really be a threat. Like, he can't be like an antagonist because he's so powerful. He can't be a good guy because he's so powerful. Like, it's just like I don't know what the fuck you do with him. Like, I feel like the best way to deal with either nerf him to where he's super powerful, like a Scarlet Witch, but like don't make him like an insane Doctor Manhattan, Mister Mixel Pixel level like reality warping. Like if they do that, it's just fucked. Like it because I don't know what they can even do with him at that point because he'll just be so insanely powerful. I don't know what you could even like. There's nothing you could even do with him at that point. So, in my opinion, either get rid of him completely, I mean, I know it sounds kind of fucking awful talking about, trying to kill like I mean, I guess he's like four, it's still like, a kid, but like somehow either A, get rid of him or just like severely depower him to where he's like powerful, like like an amplified Scarlet Witch or something. But like, don't make him this like a godly Doctor Manhattan type. Because if that's the case, I don't even know what you can do. Like, he's just so insane. He just exists and can do anything. And like, there's no way you can have any type of stakes, any type of conflict, anything that can potentially be an issue. He can just beat or instantly vaporize or just deal with. So yeah, the Franklin thing, either get rid of him or just severely nerf him. But with that said, this is my kind of my rambling thoughts of what I think that they should, and hopefully I think they do some with. Realistically, they probably won't do most of this, but it's just fun to kind of speculate what they could do since we finally got the Fantastic Four. But yeah, with that said, I think I'm gonna call it a day here, and I will see you good people later.